What Ryan Reynolds forced his daughter to do on Deadpool is one of the most abhorrent things I have ever heard of.
The original line Ryan Reynolds wanted his 7-year-old daughter to say in Deadpool, that had all this. This is a scene with a lot of Deadpools in which one of them, in fact, was like a parody of Justin Baldoni, by the way. There was this child Deadpool that had this line, is, when I want your opinion, I will take my cucumber out of your mouth.
Would you believe me if I told you that according to this Deadpool script, the disgusting lines Kidpool said that's going viral was actually the best option available? And I know you're wondering, Elsie, what the fuck does that even mean? It's either Kidpool says,
"Hey, when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth,"
or she says, "Hey, when we want your opinion, I'll take my panini out of your mouth."
You have to understand that the actor, the girl acting, is Ryan Reynolds' daughter.
Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's king of wit and sarcasm, is no stranger to pushing boundaries with his humor. But this time, the punchline didn't land. In fact, it sparked a storm of backlash. The controversy erupted after it was revealed that his 7-year-old daughter, Inez, voiced a line in Deadpool and Wolverine. But this wasn't just any voice cameo, it was an explicit joke that left fans stunned. Reynolds casually admitted that Inez was initially hesitant to record it, but instead of respecting her discomfort, he jokingly told her she'd be replaced, pressuring her to go through with it.
Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy break down Deadpool corpse battle. They are so comfortable with this abuse, and they know they won't be held accountable. They know Disney will not hold them accountable for anything, and they actually find it funny. It's laughable to do this to a little 7-year-old girl.
Both our mothers and honor our homeland.
And that he would have low bone density.
Deadpool Prime here.
Poor guy.
Our fight isn't with
"Hey,
you.
when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth."
That's kid.
Guiltily, that is my daughter,
I'm
Inez.
so sorry we have to admit that.
And I am Father of the Year over here for allowing her to say such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say. And then came back later and said, "I want to say it now," when I started looking at other people to play
Yeah,
it.
but Ryan, to our discredit, we made Nezzy do, I'm not shitting you, 70 to 500 versions of that line.
I'm going to pay for that later.
Blake Lively there as Lady Pool, Lady
Matthew
Deadpool.
McConaughey as Cowboy Pool.
McConaughey showing up like a champ
what
for
a
us.
dreamboat that guy is. What a movie star in the most classic and amazing way.
Nathan Fillion.
It's crazy. I didn't realize Matthew McConaughey was involved in this film.
Now, both fans and critics are sounding the alarm. While some brushed it off as just a joke, others say this points to a deeper, ongoing problem in Hollywood, one that's been ignored for far too long. The question echoing across social media: where do we draw the line when it comes to involving children in adult entertainment?
The recent developments, not only from the Justin Baldoni lawsuit, but those things that are being unearthed precisely on that script from Deadpool and Wolverine are, well, nothing short of disturbing. I'm going to just jump right into the details. So we have this.
Inez is a girl. Inez is 7 years old. Inez is a child. Inez is your child. Why would you write a line that says your child will take her panini out of your mouth? She doesn't even have a panini, number one. Number two, that's a child, your child, and you coached her to say this? And then you were like,
Yeah, you wonder what is going on in that house, how they treat each other, how they talk to each other, and don't they, oh, maybe they are so happy, this is all for a show. No. I know my stuff. I know my stuff. When you see people pushing for this kind of stuff on screen, it's like to see how much they can get away with. And believe me, there's a lot more to talk about.
The backlash ignited after Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy casually revealed behind-the-scenes details. During his chat, Reynolds dropped a bombshell. His daughter voiced a masked character. That alone might seem harmless, until you hear the actual line she was asked to deliver. "Hey, when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's D out of your mouth." Yeah, that's what a child had to say, multiple times.
I show you this, I don't think there will be any doubt in your mind that he is a predator, a bully, a narcissist, a psychopath, and everything else that you can think of, because it is that gross. She was 7 years old at the time. Now, I'll show you, this is one thing he said about her. "Only co-star I argued with. Most people think Kid Pool is the dirtiest." Who? Who thinks that your daughter, your 7-year-old daughter, is the dirtiest out of the Deadpool movie, out of all the homophobic, disgusting, in my opinion, sexually predatory lines, filming, everything about this movie is disgusting, especially when you peel back the layers and see what they were doing behind the scenes. And if you actually dissect the lines, they are catastrophically gross. But who thinks that your daughter is the dirtiest? Your daughter Inez. Why would you put that out there about your child? She's also pretty good at back talk and never taking out the trash. So just like he does with Blake Lively, he's always denigrating his wife. He's always praising another man, especially Hugh Jackman, who he seems to have a deep love and fondness and intimacy with, which in the Deadpool movie is constant gay jokes, constant jokes about essentially raping Wolverine and violating him. It is just nonstop, because Deadpool is supposed to be pansexual. So he's attracted, in their words, to anything that moves. This is what it said about Deadpool. Anything.
The internet exploded. Fans couldn't believe a father, especially one with a family-friendly image, would let his young daughter record something so wildly inappropriate. Making matters worse, Reynolds admitted she initially said no, but he jokingly threatened to replace her if she didn't go along. And instead of shutting it down right there, they had her record the line dozens, if not hundreds, of times. Sean Levy estimated it took anywhere from 70 to 500 takes. For many that crossed a serious ethical line.
How he completely tries to embarrass and humiliate Blake Lively over and over again publicly while he praises other people. And it looks like the same thing that he does to his wife, he is doing to his daughter. He seems to have a deep hatred for the women in his family, other than his mother, who participated in the bullying tactics with that little skit that she did.
Social media lit up with outrage. One user tweeted, "Ryan Reynolds really made his 7-year-old say that? Disturbing isn't even the word." Another added, "If your kid says no, that should be the end of it." Fans were quick to point out the hypocrisy too. Reynolds and his wife Blake Lively have always been fiercely protective of their kids' privacy. They've publicly slammed the media for photographing their children. Yet here was Reynolds voluntarily involving his daughter in an R-rated joke on a global stage.
And this is what they wanted her to say, and they forced her. He and Blake forced her, Sean Levy forced her to do this and to practice multiple versions of this. He says 70 to 500 times. What kind of time? What type of number is that? You made this girl practice different iterations of Wolverine having his male genitalia in her father's mouth, Deadpool. And she didn't want to do it because she's a little girl. And she shouldn't have done it. She shouldn't have been forced to do it. And I want you to hear what else they say. That when she didn't want to do it, well, I'm just going to find someone else to do it. And then, no, Daddy, I'll do it. See, when a narcissist, when they're trying to manipulate you, and you can see the grooming starting young here in this situation. To me, I'm not an expert, but as a regular person who has had experience with narcissists, this is what they do.
Even die-hard Deadpool fans had trouble defending him. Sure, the movie's R-rated and full of adult content, but involving a child in that kind of line? Many said it was unnecessary and could have been handled differently. That joke could have worked without a kid saying it, one fan posted. This wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate bad decision. This situation also reopened a long-running debate in Hollywood, how children are treated on set. From pushing them into mature roles to handing them lines they don't understand. It's a problem that keeps resurfacing.
I did know that Ryan had cast his 7-year-old daughter, Inez, which is Taylor Swift's goddaughter, in the Deadpool movie. Okay, cute. She's 7. She's ready to be in a film. Maybe this wouldn't be the film of choice for me from a Christian household, but to each their own. And I did know that the daughter, the kid pool, has a potty mouth, which makes sense given the character of Deadpool. You're expecting the kid to have, I guess, a potty mouth, and that's supposed to be funny. I was aware that the kid said some highly inappropriate things, but I had assumed that the kid was in the costume and they likely used either a voice actor or an AI voice tool to say some of those things, because absolutely no person, I don't care how funny you think you are in Hollywood, would want their precious daughter, of all people, to make comments about Hugh Jackman's penis being in their father's mouth. Okay, I just assumed, like, this is not something that you have to investigate any further, because there is no father in his right mind who would want a scene in which his daughter makes a, I guess, homosexual joke about the relationship between him and this Wolverine character who we're starting to have questions about their relationship in real life. Well, it turns out that I was wrong. I was very wrong on this. And also, he admits in one of these like post-Deadpool interviews that not only did he force her to say it, but that she was not comfortable with the line. And essentially, she wasn't going to do it, and then he was like, I'll just find a different actor. And that's what he says. He kind of basically forced his daughter to do the line, or else he's going to replace her as an actress in this movie. She's 7 years.
What really turned up the heat was the casual way Levy mentioned the multiple takes. This wasn't a one-off. It was a rehearsed, perfected moment. And that had people asking, did no one at any point stop to say, maybe this isn't okay? Reynolds' response to the backlash didn't help either. Instead of addressing concerns seriously, he joked that he'd pay for it later when Inez grows up. But this wasn't a laughing matter for many. Critics saw it as yet. Another example of Hollywood brushing off valid concerns with humor and deflection.
We gotta spend a minute on Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, okay? I know the ruthless fellas have been all up in this business. And, I mean, no, but seriously, have you followed it at all?
A little bit. I mean,
Okay.
it's all over the tabloids, so you got to see it a little bit. I don't know if we're
All
expert,
over the tabloids.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so for those of you, just a quick two-liner for those of you not following it. They started this movie, It Ends With Us, about domestic violence. It was his movie that he bought the rights for from the woman who wrote the book, Colleen Hoover. Then he managed to convince Blake Lively to star in it with him, and all hell broke loose. She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her, and he claims none of that is true. There was absolutely no harassment. Those are made-up claims. She wrested his movie away from him and decided to try to hurt him with petty, made-up, out-of-context complaints.
Meanwhile, Blake Lively's silence is deafening. She's been a vocal advocate for their children's privacy, often calling out paparazzi and media overreach. But now, with her own daughter involved in an explicit movie scene, she's said nothing. Some believe she didn't even know what happened until the backlash erupted. Others think she's staying quiet to avoid making things worse. Either way, the silence is raising eyebrows.
Seriously, if there are any lawyers in the house, let me know. Am I able to sue Sherry Panini and Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, because this is it's just disgusting. This is another thing. Did you know that Inez, the name of Ryan Reynolds' daughter, is the name of one of the characters? Deadpool, the character in the comics, has horizontal mambo with in the comics. And let's do the math. Like Deadpool, the original Deadpool, the movie was filmed 10 years ago. So Inez was born like 3 years after the movie was even began filming. So it's not like he was not aware of the Deadpool character. And you know that before the movie was greenlighted, they leaked with Tim Miller this little clip.
And the fire isn't dying down. Some fans are now demanding that the line be removed from the final cut of the film. Others say Reynolds owes not just the public, but his daughter a real explanation. Not a joke. This moment has made many fans rethink their perception of him. Ryan has built his brand on being the funny, self-aware guy who doesn't take things too seriously. But now, some wonder, has his humor finally gone too far?
Here she is at the 2022 Forbes Power Women's Summit.
I would show up on a set. I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character. And sometimes I had directors or producers or writers who would welcome that and invite that once they saw that I was able to offer that. And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. So I think that for them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull because you're like, you're trying to assert yourself into.
At the heart of this controversy is a deeper question. Where do we draw the line? Is it ever okay for a child to participate in adult content they don't fully understand? Should a parent's consent override common sense? Hollywood has a long history of using children for shock value. But maybe it's time to stop. Ryan Reynolds had choices. He could have used an adult voice actor. He could have respected his daughter's initial no. Instead, he pushed forward. And now, he's facing the consequences. The bigger question is, will this be a turning point or just another Hollywood scandal brushed under the rug?